Hi everyone, my name is Isabella Mall, and today I'm going to be talking to you guys about why the use of social media should be limited, and how this can lead to a more beneficial and healthier balanced lifestyle. Have you ever suffered from depression, anxiety, or other psychological hardships? Most people, especially teenagers, and I know myself, have experienced these challenging mental issues before, which have become even worse with the increasing usage of social media. I'm sure there have been nights for all of us where we are sitting at home, post breakup, post tragedy, post friend drama, or really anything we experience in our teenage years that is very painful, especially in the moment. Social media platforms can exacerbate these already tough times. When feeling lonely, it is so tempting to turn to your phone and connect with friends. Having a healthy, often quality over quantity circle of people is the best way to balance and support a healthy lifestyle, although this value is often hindered by the unlimited access to social media. The main platforms like Snapchat and Instagram today create false representations of reality and create a fake sense of connection with those around us. These effects often lead to a detrimental sense of loneliness and disconnection, and sometimes even poor mental health and suicide in worst cases. Statistics show a sharp increase in the rates of mental health issues are directly correlated with increasing social media use. In one US study, the rate at which kids and teens arrive in hospitals due to suicidal thoughts or attempts almost doubled between 2008 and 2015, with the highest increase among adolescent girls, the research is noted. This was a study in the US News, and the article basically detailed how today there is an increasing number of, especially girls, that end up in the hospital, which is obviously a very extreme way to be starting out your life and your adolescence. And a lot of this is caused by feelings of connection that actually lead to ultimately isolation because you feel that fake sense of connection. And then when you see someone in person, sometimes they don't even acknowledge you, which makes it more difficult to create a healthier and balanced group of individuals that you surround yourself with. In another study by Linda Cheramanan, a senior research has also found that 21% of teens felt down about themselves after looking at social media. This was a study in Insider News. And this kind of comes full circle with what I said at the beginning about how normally when we are going through something, maybe we're spending a Saturday night in at home, it becomes more tempting to check social media, and whoever is doing whatever they're doing can often affect your mindset in a more negative way because it makes you feel like you're missing out when in reality you're just going through something, you're going through life, and maybe you need that night to yourself, but it makes you feel like you're not doing the right thing by staying in and taking that time for yourself, which is just a necessary part of life. In another study by the Pew Research Center, Monica Anderson states that the top response mentioned by 27% of these teens is that social media has led to more bullying and the overall spread of rumors. And this really does give a bigger audience the chance to teach hate and belittle each other. And I remember this from middle school. If I would have friend drama or things that now seem small when I look back, but were really big in the moment, it was always a constant worry that I would go home and someone would say something about me via Instagram or Snapchat publicly or privately. And I think especially girls and everyone have been in this position at some point. And you can see here that these are quotes from boys too, so it really does affect everyone in different ways, but I think we've all been touched by those effects. And I can say personally, they've been really hard for me. And people can say whatever they want with anonymity. And I think that has a negative impact. That sort of goes back to what I just touched on. It's very difficult to pinpoint who are real friends and who are not real friends over social media. And it does allow for some fakeness and some inability to really create those balanced friendships. And because teens are killing people all because of these things they see on social media or because of things that happen on social media. And really, social media does create a rise in suicide per the statistics. And I know from my experience that people from my high school that seemed perfectly happy over their Instagram or Snapchat, we would come to school and hear that they commit suicide. And that was very difficult to understand because sometimes checking in on someone is sort of the ability to do that is sort of blurred by "Oh, I like their post. I commented, like, we're friends. They seem great." But in reality, people are really struggling. And I think the chance to really connect with people is limited ultimately because that false sense of connection makes it feel like you've already connected when in reality everyone would more appreciate a phone call or hey, can we get coffee, although that's more rare in our society growing up as teenagers currently. And these national statistics do reflect my personal experience. I've felt and seen these crushing effects firsthand. My depression and anxiety began to morph into an all consuming and daily struggle. Like I touched on before, I remember coming home as young as 12 in the midst of an already challenging phase during middle school. Social media led me to feel empty and alone, but also attacked and vulnerable at the same time. While social media can be humorous and distracting or provides a meaningful connection to peers and a wide social network, it might even help teens avoid depression in some cases. This was a study, an article done by the Mayo Clinic, which specializes in suicide prevention in teenagers. But, however, I do believe that this temporary quick fix is outweighed by the power of social media to negatively affect teens, distracting them, disrupting their sleep, and exposing them to bullying, rumor spreading, unrealistic views of other people's lives, and peer pressure. This sort of brings everything I've talked about full circle because it can be fun. I have nights where I'm on TikTok at night and it's distracting and fun. And I think in a balanced way, that's great. Although the ultimate side effects it has on lots of teenagers and people in general is, I would say, negative, outweighs the positive. In fact, experts worry that social media and text messages have become so integral to teenage life and that they are promoting anxiety and lowering self-esteem. And this was a study done by the Child Mind Institute based off of the researchers talking to teenagers, girls and boys, and the feedback they got from them. And coupled with these statistics, one of the most eye-opening experience I've personally had is volunteering at teenage rehabilitation centers. Most of the patients I worked with expressed how the toxicity of social media drove them to these devastating low points that ended up pushing them towards rehabilitation treatment. Mental and physical health, a symptom of excessive social media use, leads to drug abuse and suicide rates. Through my volunteer involvement in adolescent rehab facilities, I have seen firsthand how the toxic effects of unlimited social media use can derail one's self-confidence. And this does go to show that the US overdose rates for young people ages 10 to 18, which has previously been on the decline, increased substantially from 2011 to 2018, primarily among girls, another study found in the US News. And I think this is really important because this sort of spans our adolescent years and middle school years, at least for me. And that's when Snapchat and Instagram and these main social media platforms where we all see most of these things have been on the rise and really increased and directly correlates with these statistics and studies. And an article by Markham Hyde, he states that among young people, rates of suicidal thoughts, plans, and attempts all increased significantly, and in some cases more than doubled. Between 2008 to 2017, the study found, and this was in Time News. And again, this sort of goes hand in hand by the last statistic I read about how during these prime years of development of these two platforms, Snapchat and Instagram, it directly correlates with these intense and overwhelming thoughts of suicide. Social media can lead to an all time low in mental health, especially in teenagers, which ultimately can progress into suicidal thoughts and actions, like we've seen. So, an action plan on how to move forward in a healthier way is overall, while social media is fun and harmless in some ways, it is so important to use it sparingly and in meaningful ways as well as in lighthearted ways once in a while. Always remember to check on your friends and loved ones. You never know what someone may be experiencing, even though the mask of social media so effortlessly covers the reality of all our deepest thoughts and emotions. Thank you guys for listening, and I'm always here if you need resources.